What's going on YouTube? My name is FG3000. I'm back in the place to be and welcome back to 7 Deadly Sins Grand Cross. In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at the newest addition to the game, our very first commandment, Galland. But before we do any of that, we got way more important things to do, ladies and gentlemen. Today is King's birthday, so do not forget to go over to King, give him some of these lost dolls, and you're going to get times 10 affection points. Very, very nice. So there you go. Let's go ahead and jump into the... thanks, man. Appreciate that. We got a video here. So here we are, our very first commandment has been added to the game, Galland of Truth, and for whatever reason, he's at the very top of my account listing. I have no idea what type of filtering is going on there, but you know what? We go ahead and keep it moving. Level 70, fully 6-star awakening without the help of the awakening package net marble, even though technically I did buy the awakening package for my go-through. Don't you worry about that small little detail. Let's go ahead and keep it moving. Now, before we actually jump into the training scenario, let us talk about the commandment of truth. How ironic that this is called the commandment of truth with all the confusion that surrounded this ability, because I made the egregious mistake, Netmarble, to read this ability at face value via the text that you provided. I thought this ability was way more powerful than it actually was, but luckily for me, you know, I didn't really know I was lying about the ability, so that way Galland is not going to petrify me, so I'm cool. He ain't gonna kill, well, he might still spear me. He might still spear you too, but don't you worry about that. Let's keep it moving. So what does commandment of truth actually do? So the only unit that's going to be petrified is the caster that casts an ability that forces a rank up or forces a rank down. That's it. You will not get petrified for top decking. You will not get petrified for sliding cards around to make rank 2 and rank 3. The only person that will be petrified is the caster that forces a rank up or forces a rank down. So right now, technically, it's basically just go there. There might be some other examples. I do know that Hauser's ultimate, Dragon Castle, does an AoE and also decreases skill ranks. I just have not been a victim of this ability yet to kind of test it out. But I assume if Hauser hits this with you, ranks your skills down, then Hauser will get petrified. But once again, I just have not seen that in action. But that's it. That's the only way that you're going to get petrified by this ability, is when a caster forces a rank up or forces a rank down, and that dramatically changes what I consider the power of that ability. And look at this. If you just read the text, you don't get any of that background information whatsoever. Like none of it. None of that is listed here. Come on, Netmarble, get it together. But that's that. His second ability is Galland's game, and just like the first ability, I really do have to give them props for making sure that these mechanics fit their thematic lore from the anime. That is amazing. Like, I love that. Like, they didn't have to do this, but they did, and they made it work in an RPG framework, and I really like that about 7 Deadly Sins. This takes a lot more effort, and it takes a lot more care for your IP to make abilities like that. So I'm giving them a little bit of crap for the translations and the text, but I gotta give them props on just the pure effort it takes into making abilities like that, including Galland's game. So this is a very cool ability once again fitting his lore and his theme as well. So basically at the start of the fight, Galland will randomly choose an enemy, and for the entire fight, that enemy has to hit Galland until either Galland dies or the enemy dies. And as an extra added bonus, for you, not for them, they also cannot do debuffs. So right now, this ability is extremely strong against Green Bond, who kind of lives and dies by his snatch ability. He can't snatch if he's targeted by Galland's game here. So very, very cool ability. Now let's go ahead and jump into the training scenario here. Do keep in mind that both of these abilities cannot be used in deathmatch, which is kind of interesting. Another thing that's kind of interesting here is that I assume that because he's a commandment and he has basically 2 passives, this is the reason why he has no associations whatsoever. So no extra added bonuses and no team up ultimates at all. So I assume that all the commandments are going to be exactly like this. But once again, I'm a global player. I don't know what's going on in the JP version. Don't be trying to quote me on stuff like that. Let's keep it moving. Let's jump into combat. Ladies and gentlemen, I really do like the way this character looks. Like I said, from a theme perspective, from his personality in the anime, really cool character. And once again, why am I giving so many props in this video? I really like the fact that they have done a really good job of portraying heights of characters in this game. Of course, Deanne, fantastic, including Galland. He's a tall dude. It's represented quite well here. So his number one, and I think this ability is really powerful, it's called One Stroke Kappa. So basically, at its highest level, it does 450% attack to one enemy. That is rivaling ultimate damage right there, but it gets even better. it has an additional stat here called Amplify. And basically what Amplify does is for every active buff on self, he gets an additional 30% damage. Yes, you heard that right. For every single buff on Galland, he's gonna get an additional 30% damage. This is an insane ability. So right now, I'm kind of like, this ability in my mind is so powerful that I think it would be a disservice to not pair him with someone that can buff, like an Arthur, a Gil Thunder, a Hellbrim, like somebody that can buff, because I feel like this ability is just so strong, you have got to play around it. But once again, more to come on the meta and using Galland a little bit later. His number 2 is a lot more straightforward. It is an AoE bleed, so very straightforward. We'll go ahead and knock that out. Cool animation though. Nice little AoE bleed there. And that's pretty much his kit. Last but not least is the ultimate, and this one is called Critical Over. Now, if you go into combat and you do not have someone that can buff, don't you worry, Critical Over will apply buffs to Galland, so you can get a little bit extra mileage out of one stroke if you do not bring a buffer with you. Cool animation, by the way. Look at that. Insane. Insane, insane. So as you can see right now, after you use his ultimate, he now has 3 buffs applied. So let's go back to one stroke here. 100k damage. 100k damage, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my God. All right, hold on. Let's do one thing real quick. Let's go ahead and do Critical Over. We're gonna skip the animation if we can. And then with the buffs, let's just do a skill 1. Let's just do a skill 1. Skill 1. 44k on a skill 1. And you'll be able to do this as long as you're running someone like, once again, an Arthur, a Hellbrim, someone like that that can apply that many buffs at once. Very potent character here. So I am very much enamored with Galland's kit thus far. It's not all rosy though. It's not all rosy, but we'll get to that here in a second. So that is the Galland of Truth, ladies and gentlemen. If we go over here to equipment, me personally, I'm just kind of running attack and lifesteal. You guys know I love attack and lifesteal, but once again, when I show off equipment, you use your own discretion, kind of build what you think is the best thing for you. I just feel like with all of that damage he's gonna get out of his number 1, I feel like having a little lifesteal to top him off out of nowhere is gonna be very potent. But once again, use your own discretion when it comes to equipment. Now let's talk about the bad news, right? Because this kit seems pretty cool, right? You have this very powerful counter against Gowther here, which a lot of people are going to be running. I wouldn't call it a hard counter. It is a direct counter to Gowther, but I wouldn't call it a hard counter because people can play around it. People are just eating the Petrify, and people are just purifying the Petrify as well. So I wouldn't call it like a hard counter. It's not like game over if you're running Galland and they're running Gowther. You can still lose, but it is a very, very stark counter against Gowther. So that is that. And then this ability right over here, right now, especially with the meta with green bond all over the place, having this ability is going to be a lot of fun. But you can kind of see a lot of his kit has a lot of RNG with it. It really depends on who you have the Galland's game set up. It really depends if you're fighting a Gowther. Like there's a lot of contingency plans when it comes to using this character effectively in PvP, but I'm here for it. I'm kind of excited to see this character in action a little bit later in this video. So that is that. Let's talk about what I consider to be his very best gameplay modes, and this is where the bad news starts to happen, right? Farming. I see no use for him in a farming team at all. Yes, he has an AoE on his number 2, but things should be dying fast enough that those bleeds are not even really going to take effect. Having a really strong single target damage on his number 1 while useful is not unique. Having a strong ultimate, once again, while useful is not unique. So it comes down to his passives, and the passives just don't really have any use in a farming team. Having Galland's game is like having a taunt. So maybe if you have like a squishy Jericho, you can kind of take some pressure off of her, but I'm really reaching here. I do not think that Galland belongs in any type of farming team whatsoever. And then of course, his Petrify is not going to be used at all. So for farming, I'm going to have to say no. Guild Boss, I'm also going to say no here as well. There are these slots when it comes to Guild Boss are very, very particular. When it comes to kind of min-maxing the RNG in Guild Boss, you have to have the right exact units doing the right exact things at the right exact times, and Galland just doesn't bring anything to that conversation at all. So when it comes to the current Guild Boss in the game, the normal and the hard, I don't see any use for Galland there. When it comes to Deathmatch, once again, could you use Galland? Sure, you could maybe try to force him into like the current Red Demon and Gray Demon, but once again, you're bringing a character who has no team up ultimate, So that's number one. And number 2 and 3, he doesn't have his 2 passives. His passives do not work in deathmatch. So you're literally bringing a character to the deathmatch that does not provide any passive bonuses for anybody else, does not provide any like mind-blowing damage because he doesn't have a team-up ultimate. I just think there are way better picks in the current Red Demon and Gray Demon raids. So once again, when it comes to farming, no. Guild boss, no. Deathmatch, red and green, red and gray, maybe even the future Crimson one, which I haven't done. No, no, no. The only real use that I see for Galland in this game in its entirety is PvP. So do keep that in mind. Even if you're rolling on the Gother banner, you're going crazy, you didn't get Gother at all, but you got Galland, you're like, whatever, I'm just gonna power him up. Do know that you're powering him up for PvP. Anything can change in the future, but right now, as the game sits currently, you gotta use this guy for PvP. So let's do just that, ladies and gentlemen, as we end this video off, as we always do, with a little bit of preview of what I consider to be their very best gameplay modes. Let's go ahead and jump into PvP, and we're gonna go ahead and do this raw. Of course, after this video, I will be working on a PvP video, just kind of going through as many matches as we can. So be on the lookout for that. But let's go ahead and jump on over here to normal PvP. We're gonna go ahead and kind of run this team. It's not gonna be super impressive because I've used so many resources getting Gother powered up as well as Galland. I didn't have enough resources to max out my Arthur. Yeah, even FG's at his limits right now. He's not 6-star, he only is level 64. We are gonna bring a little bit of full head gang gang bang bang. And maybe, is that might be, he might be an honorary member of the 4-head gang gang bang bang meta. He might be. As far as food, let's just try to ult. Let's just try to get in there and ult as fast as we can, man. I don't know. We'll have to see. All right, so let's go ahead and jump back in to PvP. So hopefully we can get Arthur to set up some really good buffs on Galland, and hopefully he can just kind of carry us through this entire thing. But I guess we'll find out here in a second, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. Very, very nice. All right. Let's see what we have here. We do have a Gother. So right now, if this Gother does any type of skill, oh! So basically the Galland's game is set up between Galland and Gother over here, but Gother is AoE, so I'm not super impressed with that. I still want to hit, believe it or not, I still want to just hit, I still want to hit King. Like, I want King out of here. Give the buff there, and here comes a rank 1 non-geared PvP. Very good damage there, nearly killed. And we've already set up the ultimate for turn 2. This is, once again, I'm using that rush ultimate meta here. What you doing there, Gother? What you doing? What you doing? This is going to be a real person here. You can kind of see thinking this through. So this is the great thing about Galland's game, by the way. Once again, debuff immunity. So remember what I said earlier, debuffs do not apply. Such a massive, it's such a good ability there. So let's do this. We're gonna go ahead and do, I can't let you take away my ultimate juice. Actually, let's do it this way. Quick, FG, you gotta go quick. I got this. Wait, calm down, everybody. I got this. So being able to completely negate one character's debuffs for the entire match, or as long as Galland is alive, is such a great ability. Thank you, Arthur, for that, by the way. Such a great ability. So we've had a lot of excitement this week when it came to these new characters, Gother and Galland. But I gotta say, yeah, Gother's amazing. But I'm actually more excited for Galland when it comes to at least PvP. I'm gonna run Gother through all my PvE encounters. You already see I have Gother applied to every single one of my set teams. But when it comes to PvP, I think I want to build around Galland because he just seems like a lot more fun. He just seems like a lot more fun. I like the RNG aspect of it all. But as you guys can see now, now he's dead, Gother. So I get no more Galland's game, unfortunately. Who did I just target? Once again, let's try to get King out of here. Let's see what we can do here. Ultimate move, critical up once again. So now we're gonna get those buffs. So now once again, we're gonna get a lot of, what? Did I do that in the wrong order? I sure did. So now we're going to get that extra DPS that we were just seeing a second ago. And maybe if we can get another Arthur buff, yes. I don't actually know the interaction between his own buffs and Arthur buffs, but I guess we're going to find out. Let's see what you got here. Here comes a big King ult. Good damage, though, still. Arthur, once again, at an elemental disadvantage. Even my forehead gang, gang, bang, bang. Got a little smack in the face there. I don't appreciate that. And we got petrified. Which is, you know, whatever. Get rid of that. It took away my buff, too. That's rude, dude. I wonder if I can kill him with this AoE. Let's do it this way. Let's go ahead and purify. Let's buff him up a little bit. I can probably do it with Arthur in that single target, but this video is all about Galland, so let's try to give him a time to shine. Very, very good. Just barely. Now we're gonna get stomped by Deanne here. Oh boy. Arthur definitely dead. Like, I'm sure there has been enough turns here for that Deanne ultimate to stack up very, very nicely. Oh, no, we still good. We still good. What else you got? A little AoE smack. Probably a power cube. No, single target. Attack disable. Once again, not too worried about that. This is why we run the full head gang, gang, bang, bang. Meta. All right. But I don't really need him at the moment. Well, you know what? I do want to. Once again, this is his video. You've had your time to shine. Let's go ahead and jump in there. One more time, FG. I know. I'm not using my ultimate this turn. Get that off. A little bit of ignite action. Good damage, 20k off of just a one skill ability. Like this character, I'm telling you, Galland seems like a ton of fun. Take away my ultimate juice, that's fine. And then we are, come on. But that will do it, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, maybe. Arthur in the house. Another ignite stack. No, we still here. We still here. I thought he might do it. He got an elemental advantage. It's only level 60. I thought we might be able to do it. Come on. Lay off. That's rude. That's so rude, man. So here's something else that's neat. So check this out. Can we get a perfect cube? Not going to get a perfect cube. So the perfect cube, I assume, is also a buff. So if you want to get even more mileage out of Gother or Galland here, don't forget perfect cube. So you can kind of run an Arthur, maybe even a Green Merlin. I'm just kind of thinking out loud here. But that'll give you an additional buff there as well. So you don't have to run like a Hellbrim or something like that, or a Guild Thunder who's not really going to bring that much DPS. A lot of things that I'm going to continue to work on here. Have not decided on what my team for Galland's going to be, but of course, don't you worry. It's going to be coming very, very soon. So that will do it. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, once again, my name is FG3000. This has been a look at the newest and the first commandment added to the game, Galland. Like I said, in my opinion, this is a PvP focused character. So even if you pull this character while you're trying to dig for Gother, do keep in mind that the only reason why you would power up and invest so much currency, so much resources in this character is to take this character into PvP. I really do not see in our current version of the game any other use for this character outside of that. So that will do it. I'm out, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.